Tearlaments just got hit on the ban list, and so of course we need to make a deck list that can adapt to those changes. If you still need a beautiful playmat, go to zerodamagegaming.com and use the code SOLOM for a discount. There's also deck boxes. So as you can see here, if you don't know the changes, Yugioh is being put to 1, Keldo is being put to 1, Medora is being put to 1, and Terraforming is banned. Cyberstein is also banned. We have triple Maxi because Maxi is absolutely broken. We have a 1 Diviner of the Herald. Now this card was kind of getting like phased out. It was not quite as good as many people were thinking. However, now that we have less of the Ishizus, we might sometimes still want access to something like this just to keep our plays going, to have access to those millers or maybe even the shufflers. So like if we're in a mirror, we might be able to like Sprite Elf the Diviner back, get one of our only 2 shufflers in graveyard, and that way still ensure that we have access to them. So this is basically like a 3rd shuffler if you're thinking about it, or it's extra copies of Kelbeck and Yugioh in the sense that she can at least dump them. So for now I'm going to be experimenting with that, and of course we'll see how this further develops. Then we have 2 Merly because, well, we want to max out all the tier names. Triple Ash. Ash on Kitkalos is sometimes crazy. Ash on Sharon is really good. Ash on the field spell can be solid because then they don't have Sharon. They already hard drew Sharon plus Rhino Heart and so forth. Okay, then they're just better than you, sorry. So our Maxi Magnet, of course. Then we have 2 Hofness, the girl. We have Fairy Tale Snow, absolutely broken card. I think this card just carries this deck so hard. In a TCG, I think we didn't have her anymore around the time of Tear Ishizu, but Tear Ishizu was crazy enough, you know. But as long as we have Fairy Tale Snow, I think Tear Ishizu is just gonna stay on top. We have our 2 Sharon, we have triple Rhino Heart. I think the less cards you have of Ishizu tier, the more cards of Ishizu tier you should be running, in the sense that previously, maybe you were getting away with 2 Rhino Heart. But now that everything is getting hit so badly, yeah, Rhino Heart is still a crazy good card, still a crazy good mill. Your excuses for running 2 are basically running out. So triple Rhino Heart for that reason, still the best normal summon. We even saw in the World Championship qualifier some people running Reinforcement of the Army just to be able to search this. So might be something you're also interested in putting in here. Then we have basically the highest amount of Ishizu cards possible. So that's 2 Kelbeck and then the rest is at 1. I added Foolish Burial. Now generally Foolish Burial actually isn't that great because it's just not as high quality as the Ishizu and the tier cards. However, since we're starting to run out of those, Foolish Burial is starting to look like a lot better. Basically, you have like 2 pushes usually in Ishizu tier. You have your normal summon Rhino Heart, which should make a Kitkalos, and if that gets stopped, you have a Sharon that might also be able to get you playing. If those get stopped now, or you don't have both, because again, we now don't have Terraforming into Perlerino, so now you can still go like activate Foolish Burial, dump one of these, and maybe still start playing. So this is just another push. We need to have access to these broken cards, and this is the way to do it. Then we have 1 Foolish Burial Goods. Again, we want to have access to the broken cards, and this can basically search anything. Like with Goods, you can send Scream, which can search you any of the traps, or you can send Sulik, which can get you any of the monsters. So this is kind of like Terraforming. Then we have 2 Triple Tactics Talents. Talents is a crazy card in the mirror, and that is basically still gonna be your most played matchup in my opinion. I think this ban list did not actually hit tier all that hard, and so yeah, Talents keeps us basically winning that mirror. Then we have Perlerino at 1, the most broken card ever. I honestly think it's like a very bad system that they put cards like this to 1, because now whoever draws this has the most unfair advantage imaginable. And so if one side has Perlerino and the other doesn't, GG, right? Then we have Scream. The reason I haven't crafted my 3rd is I think next ban list this deck is getting nuked into Oblivion. So for that reason, I'm not crafting it. I'm just going to replace this with Reinforcement of the Army or something on my end. I do think you should be running 3, absolutely. It's a crazy mill. It's a really good starter. Sometimes if they like Ash Sharon, but you have Scream, you can just go like normal summon Sharon, start milling, and probably still playing. That's how crazy this deck is. So a triple Scream for sure. Then we have 2 Call by the Grave to stop Maxi because Maxi is broken. Also, now that the shufflers are only at 2, you're even more often going to be able to use this to banish your opponent's Tearlament cards and basically stop them from fusing. Now, of course, you need to keep in mind that this says negated on the field of monsters with the same original name until the end of the next turn. So you could also turn off your own tiers, so be mindful of that. Cross out because Maxi is broken. Tearlament's Heartbeat at 1. Basically, it's a really solid mill still, because if you milled any of the traps, now you can just add it, and then after that, you can send Scream with Kaleido Heart and then just search the other trap. So Heartbeat as a mill is kind of gonna help you ensure that you have both traps, and beyond that, it is also out some of the nasty floodgates people are using against this deck. Then we have triple triple imperm because this is like the best hand trap against Tearlaments. You basically imperm Kid Kalos and sometimes their turn just ends. Also, if you think that you won't be able to play through their board, you could also imperm the Dweller. If the Dweller is not on their Sprite Elf, that is really solid as well. But then we have a Crime. This is to stop evenly matched because a lot of people are playing evenly matched counter tier. And so if you can just go boop, Crime, GG. Also, we are still running like Diviner Baron, so that's one less way to die from evenly. Though, to be fair, evenly isn't even that great. I know, very hot take, but like if your board has Redoer on it, evenly does nothing. If your board has Crime, evenly does nothing. If your board has Baron, evenly does nothing. And while Baron isn't the most, like, you know, thing that comes up most, the fact that you can just make a board that doesn't care, like Redo or Rule Kolos, that's crazy to me. So Crime, yeah, to stop evenly, and to Sulik, the best trap. Once we get Kashtira into the format, we will also be playing Meta Noise. Now for the extra, we have the very typical package, you know, Mud Dragon, Kid Kalos, Stapelia, Rule Kolos, Kaleido. This is basically the mainstay cards. If we had Garura in this game, we would also be playing that. We have the one Baron to make with Diviner, and then we have Abyss Dweller and the Zodiac package. I covered this on the channel a while ago when Jesse Cotton was playing this, and I loved it. I also played a little bit in the World Championship qualifier. I wasn't trying to get to Worlds, you know, just get some free gems, of course. And these cards put in work. Wow. So basically, one Chakanine, one Borbao, and one Trident. These cards just out all the floodgates. They can also trigger your own tier names. Absolutely incredible. Also great to make Zeus with. Then we have Bagushka, of course, if we get shifted. Redoer to, again, play around evenly and start some other plays. A Zeus, because it's Zeus. Oh, an amazing board wipe. And then Dark to steal our opponent's Merleys. And Sprite Elf in order to have a targeting protection. Revive a Diviner to get access to our Shufflers, or revive Merle to do plays in our opponent's turn. So I feel, again, the deck is still immensely powerful. It is still the best deck by far, in my opinion. Of course, if I start playing more after the ban list, we might start noticing like, hey, I want to change some ratios. You know, maybe reinforcement of the army really has to be in this. Like this bad boy right here, I'm probably going to be replacing this one Scream with this one Rhoda because I think this deck is going to get nuked some point. Again, if you don't intend to play in some tournaments, I would not be crafting like the third Rhino Heart right now. And you might think like, but if they ban, you know, Rhino Heart, then I get my material back anyway. Sure, but you might craft your third Rhino Heart, and then they ban Kid Kalos, and they ban maybe Sharon, and they ban maybe Hofnis or Merle. And now you are here with your third Rhino Heart that you don't get any material for, but is basically useless. So for that reason, I just be watching out a little with crafting, unless you really love this deck and you just want to play it, you know, that last month. But I'm expecting some harsh hits to the deck sooner rather than later. Still, I'm enjoying it, especially in like bigger piles without Ishizu, just a fun, you know, big 60 card dark deck. That's just my style. So I'll keep playing that. Hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.